We got our box glued together and the glue's dry. So I'm gonna pop off this rubber band, and you might have a spline sticking up like this. That's fine. What we're gonna do now is I'm gonna take this box to a, this is a piece of sandpaper glued to a flat surface, and these are stored over by the clamps. They're leaning up against the cabinet over there. I got it clamped to the workbench, and I'm going to sand like this so I get the top part all nice and flat. So knock that spline off real quick. All right, so got that spline kind of knocked off there. And what I'll do before I kind of start that process is take a pencil and I'm going to mark kind of the top so I know where I'm sanding as I sand it. And pretty much when the pencil marks are all gone, then we can kind of be hopeful that the whole box is flat. So got my pencil marks there. And as you sand, kind of rotate it once in a while. If you do it this way, it's kind of annoying. Makes a horrible noise. And I'm switching my hands, switching my corners, rotating it. So I'm almost there. I got a little bit more to take off. Still got some pencil marks there, which is telling me that's a low spot. So off camera, I'll finish this up, and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, I got my box sanded down so it's all flat here and here. So I'm ready to put my top on now. So the top is a 1/2 inch thick material, and I cut it out rough on the bandsaw real quick. So it's got a little bit of overhang right there. So we're gonna flush trim that off later. But the important thing is you do have a little bit of overhang. You don't want it even with the side of the box. So we're gonna glue this on. And it might seem kind of weird to glue the top on, but it'll make sense later. And this is kind of an important step here. When you do glue this on, you want to dry clamp it first to make sure all the clamps work. So I'm going to go over this vise here and show you how I'd like it to be dry clamped. So I'm going to just kind of get it situated in the vise, make sure I have overhang everywhere. That means the top is overhanging the sides by a little bit, 1/4 inch is fine. And I'll just put it in the vise. Then I'm going to grab my parallel clamps. I got 4 of them set aside of here. This one's just put away kind of funky. This is not the way it should look. We're going to make it look like a regular parallel clamp. Some people call these hand screws. But again, we want it about like that. And so now we can take 2 hands and we can widen it up a little bit. Get it to where we want it. And this is where you want to pay attention to what you're doing here. You want to make sure that when you put this on, you're putting pressure against the side of the box right here. So it's like that. You don't want to put pressure against the bottom of the box. You want that face of that clamp to ride on the bottom of the front or side or back. Now, I'm not sure if the camera can pick this up or not. Let me get you kind of more of a bird's eye view here. But what I'm looking at, if I had a 4th hand, I would be excited right now. What I'm looking at is a gap right here or right here. So let me label that with my pen so you can see what I'm referring to. I know it's kind of hard to see. So let me situate yourself about like that. So I'm going to put an A and a B. So let me put a C here actually. So B and C, what I want to do is have a little bit of a gap at the B side, or I'm sorry, C side. So it's kind of opened up at that C and closed at that B. And what that's going to allow us to do is put even pressure when we turn the back screw. Just like that. So now I have even pressure all through the clamp here. So basically what I did is I had the clamp sitting about like this, and then as I tighten one, they come parallel. So it's going to take a little bit of practice to get that right, but that's the way you want it. So I'm going to put 3 more clamps on there now that I have that situated. Same process now. Oops, sorry. Now that it's out of the vise, I can use my other parallel clamps. And same process. I just want to make sure that the clamp is kind of opened up, and then we're going to close it to get it situated for that last little cinch, I guess. And when it's dry clamped, that's going to allow us to, or you should be able to shake the project and not have it fall apart here. And again, the reason for dry clamping is that when we go to glue it, all our clamps will be ready to go. We don't have to go hunting for clamps while our glue's drying. And we also know that the clamps are going to work for our project. So I'll put one more clamp on here dry, and then we'll put some glue on it, and then wait overnight for that glue to dry. Okay, so I like that right there. We got 4 clamps, all nice and snug. Show that to me before you glue it together. Make sure you show me your dry clamp. And now we're ready to glue it together. So when we glue it, again, try to organize yourself. We're just gonna unscrew a clamp, set it aside, unscrew a clamp, set it aside. Set it aside. Okay, so look at that. Our clamps are all organized and they're ready to go. So now it comes time to glue it. What we're going to do, just put a nice little bead of glue just on our box. Just like that. And then we'll put our top on. Get a little bit of pressure on that. Put it back on our vise. Make sure we have overhang everywhere. That's really important. Make sure we have overhang everywhere. I'm just kind of feeling that with my fingers. And then I'm gonna, okay, still got overhang. Now we're ready to put our clamps on. Now, because we took the time to dry clamp it, it should be pretty easy just to go through and pop those clamps back on because they're already fitted to our project and we don't have to go hunt for them. So maybe a little bit of readjustment. This one's kind of bent. That should do. All right, and then that's the top glued on. And again, it's not going to make a lot of sense to why I glued the top on, but after we're all said and done, it will. Okay, so that's the top glued on.